Hello, my friends. How are you? I'm coming to you today. My name is Natasha, for those of you who don't know me, on a somber self-care Sunday. What started out as like an amazing day. I was like super restful. I had a plan. I was executing it. Like, my daughter had moved out of her apartment in Berkeley, and she had like all these things. So I was like helping clean out the garage and getting rid of things. Like, there's like all like I had this whole like walk-in pantry thing, and like we like collect things. Like, I had 5 cupcake pans. I don't make that much cupcakes or muffins. I don't need 5 cupcake pan things, and just other things, right? Like, some things are still kept, like I have, like, if anybody wants a cheesecake or something, that thing that you use to make a cheesecake with. I don't know what else I one time made pasta with it. It was like this, ooh, I saw on Pinterest, like, you put in all the rigatoni noodles, and then you put the sauce. It took me so damn long, and like, I was like, it was kind of dry. I was like, no, I didn't like that. But so like, it was just all these things, and it was like, yay. Like, I was like putting together boxes to take to my uncle's house to do like a garage sale, and like, it's my trash, but now it could be somebody else's treasure, and if it doesn't go in a garage sale, I'll just donate it, give it away, whatever it is. So yeah, so we did that. I was working on that, and like, it felt so good to like be able to like see parts of my garage floor I haven't seen in a long time, and like have everything centralized for my daughter, and all this stuff. Like, it felt really good. And then my son was getting ready to go to his game, and Chris said, okay, I'll take him, and I was like, okay, great. So I finished up doing some more stuff. I headed over there. It was freezing. It was like a really, really cold game. Like, I was like, why is this cold? So I had like 2 blankets on me. I'm watching the game starts. He shoots this banger goal, like one of his best goals I've ever seen. I was like, yeah, like, good job. Like, he, I was so happy for him. And, his team went on to play well. He was playing, and he then got put into a position he doesn't typically play, but he has played, here and there. And it was literally the last minute of the game. And, he was, his teammate was here. Tyler was running full force, and a ball was coming, and his teammate said, I got it. So Tyler backed off, and he went down, and he was grabbing his knee. And in that second, like, I couldn't. Like, I don't know. Again, like, I feel like sometimes life gives you so many tests, and I've been so tested, right? So in this moment, like, I knew nothing else to do. Like, here you see your child, or somebody you love, a friend, a family member, even a stranger, and they're in pain, and you're just sitting there like helpless, and there's nothing I can do. I can't get up. I can't, go run out there. Like, when your babies fall down in a jungle gym, right? You could go run after them and pick them up and kind of assess, and you're just helpless. You're just sitting there waiting, watching the coaches come over, and next thing you know, it was literally the last minute of the game. So the referee calls the game. So I get up and I walk over there. And the coach just says, call 911. And that's not what you want to hear when you're going to your child, right? And you just see his knee is ginormous. He can't bend it. He can't move it. And it's just awful. It's just awful. You see everybody staying around, and you're just kind of in shock. Like, even though I've been through this like so many times, I've seen my kids hurt like this. Like, obviously, I've seen Tyler break 2 bones, 2 arms now. Or that he had broken 2 arms. My other son had broken his ankle 2 times. My daughter had broke her ankle doing cheer. My other son broke his elbow. Obviously fractured his his knee, and then, tore the ACL. And I can't say it gets easier, but in some ways it gets easier. Like, it so sucks. It just sucks. It just sucks. I don't have another word. And then I try to sit here and I try to think about it, and I'm going through, and I'm grateful, right? Because even though I'm sitting here crying with you guys, so I thank you and I'm sorry for that. Even though I'm crying, I don't have that, like, I know all the work I'm doing, everything I'm doing, it is working, because I know I have tools. Like, in that moment, I didn't freak out. I wasn't screaming, like, I wasn't like, like, even though I was in the midst of a crisis, I still found a way to remain calm. Like, in that moment, like, I just put my head down and I just said a prayer. I just said, please, just let me be okay, like, and, you go, and then next thing you know, the medics are there, and I'm glad, like, that, originally, like, usually I'm like, I'll just take them or whatever, but I've learned so much now that, like, I know that this will get him medicine quickly, this will get him into the back door of the ER, like, it would have been really challenging to mobilize him in any way and move him, because he couldn't move, like, it hurt so bad that even with, like, medications on board, it was hurting, and in a whole, like, air cast thing, so it didn't move on the bumpy ride over. But yeah, so, it's really tough. It's really tough to support somebody you love and watch them hurt. Like, I just wish I could just give him my knees, right? Like, of course it's his right knee, so I would have already promised that one to my other son. I would have been like, hey, I only have my left one left. But, it's just like that tree, the giving tree, and it's so true. Like, I would give everything and anything for them, without a question. Like, and the ironic thing was, like, I was sitting here yesterday thinking about perhaps doing something for myself, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, I can't imagine being, like, out of, like, dance for, like, 6 to 8 weeks, because it's like I get it now. Like, I never really had anything that was, like, mine, or, like, brought me joy that was, like, separate of the family. Like, it was some, like, creative expression of myself. And, like, I asked the kids, and I was like, sorry, Dylan, this is probably, like, insulting to even ask you after everything you've been through. So, like, I asked the questions, like, what would you, like, what is it like mentally to, like, not be with your sport for, like, 6 to 8 weeks? Like, I was asking this, like, would you, voluntarily do something, like, for yourself, and then that like equaled, like, I don't know. So I was, like, asking about it. Of course, like, something like this happens the next day, and I know it's not my fault or anything, but, like, I'm like, why did I ask such a stupid question? Like, why did I put that even in the universe? Like, I should have just asked the question, like, about myself. Like, I don't know. So I know it doesn't, but, again, like, it's just so it's so difficult. So I say all that to say, I'm doing 1000% better than I've done in other similar situations, but different. As it turns out, it was not dislocated, which was the original thought, which actually ended up being the better of the options, because they were saying, like, if it was dislocated, that's, like, a major trauma, and he was going to have to be, like, air vac'd up to another facility and all these things. So thankfully that wasn't the case. But what did happen was, his tendon in his knee pulled off a big chunk of his tibia, and there's this ginormous gap, and it moved up his knee cap as well. So he fractured the tibia, and he moved his kneecap, and we don't know anything else. Like, we don't have any ligament things, so no, I don't know if there's, like, an ACL or meniscus or any of that other stuff, PCL, LCL, I don't know any of that. I'm hoping that there isn't. He didn't hear or feel a pop, and Dylan heard and felt multiple pops. So I'm like hoping on that. I'm hoping that this is more like when Dylan broke his elbow and Bradley broke his ankle. It was just their tendons were so strong, they pulled off a piece of their bone. And as terrible as that sounds, like in my mind, I don't know, I'm not a doctor, and I'm doing so good because I have literally not Googled this at all. That is huge for me because I'm usually Dr. Google, and I'm usually pretty good about it. Like, I can find the information. I will find out what's wrong, but like, I'm just trying to be in the moment and say like, okay, like it's gonna be okay. And I think that like when I say like it doesn't get easier, but it does get easier, like it's never easy to watch your son or daughter or somebody you love suffer, period. Like that never gets easier. Like that still breaks my heart. Like that I am like with you, and like my son's apologizing to me, like, I'm sorry, I'm causing trouble. I'm like, what are you, don't you dare apologize to me. There's nothing. Like, first off, like, you are in the best hands, because if anything I can do is I am an amazing person who will support you and will advocate for you. So like you got this. Like, I got you. Like, don't ever apologize. Like, if you wanted attention, that you could have just asked for it. Like, you didn't have to do this. Like, I joke with him, but it does get easier because I have so many reminders that even in these moments when I'm sad and I've been upset and they're in pain, like he's in pain right now, like there is parts of his body that are not where they're supposed to be. He's in mental pain, right? Like your season is most likely over. Like that was probably the last game he played with his current coach, who is changing next season. You know, like team dynamics always change. So like that might have been his last game with that exact team. It means he misses 6 games. It means he maybe misses tryouts. Like, hopefully, like these are like the best case scenarios, right? Like, cause we know now, like we had like before 6 to 8 week like prognosis, which we don't know. I'm being optimistic. They say that he will require surgery to put this piece, because it's so big of a piece that he broke off that it will need to go on. So this was what the ER said. Sometimes the ER is really wrong. Like when my son broke the elbow, they're like, oh, you can't break an elbow. Like that is like a really rare thing to do. Next day you do, oh yeah, by the way, you broke your elbow. We're like, what? You just said it was fine. It wasn't dislocated and it wasn't broken, and now it's broken, and he had to have surgery. I say we, because I feel like I'm in it with them. Like I don't go through the physical pain part, but I am in it with them. Good news was it wasn't dislocated, so I'm grateful for that. And again, once I came home, I had to do a lot of running, like because I was busy, and then I was obviously didn't foresee myself spending 6 hours in an ER. But I started to run, and like having that was so huge, because like in other instances I didn't have that, and I'd come home and I'd lay in bed and I'd get on the phone and I'd get on the Google and play Dr. Google and be like, oh, it is this, and a lot of times I was right, but then now I'm reading the worst case scenarios and the best case scenario, and I'm working myself all up into this anxious like person. But like literally I have gone back to like in that moment when I was hit by the shock, it was like I was in the cold shower again. I just breathed. I was able to just breathe. And that, like, I know it doesn't fix anything, and I know it doesn't make anything better. And in the moments when they had to move Tyler or do something in which it was excruciating, I was like, just breathe. Like, take a big deep through your nose, breath through your nose, breathe out through your mouth, kind of like just, like there's so much power in just breathing. And I know it doesn't take it away, but there's just something that just re-regulates you in this chaotic event in time when you're finding yourself like like shallow breathing and stuff. So it's just breathe. So I was able to do that through this, and I feel I've like literally never been so calm. Like, and even still, like I remember when I was just running a few minutes ago. I'm like, I remember, as if it was so long ago. I remember back a few moments ago when I was running. And I looked over, like I'm writing about it, right? I'm journaling, I'm writing, and I Pardon me. I glance over, and what do I see? I saw a colorful jar on my dresser. I saw my gratitude gushings. And it just put a smile on my face. And it just made me think for a moment, like, yeah, this is unfortunate. This was really unlucky. It was a fluke freak accident. And I'm still okay. My son is still alive. He's still okay. Like, there's a lot to still be grateful. I got to see him score a really cool goal. And like, it just put a smile on it, like, not just reframed it, like it made me realize that there still is so much to be grateful for. And I know it's unfortunate, but I really do believe, like, reminding myself and having that visual reminder of my, gratitude gushings over here is like key. Like, it is, like, again, like I say, like, sometimes you realize, like, oh, I started doing that this year on the 1st. This was like a really important, like, thing for me, and it worked and it clicked. And it was like later on in life, sometimes you realize, you're like, oh, I've been doing it all for this exact moment. And that doesn't mean I'm going to stop tomorrow, but like setting it up in the way in which I did and having it, like, it prepared for me for this moment to be able to have that, to like say, it's going to be okay. Like, there's still, even though there's something bad happened, there's still so much to be grateful for. Like, his friends were so nice. The families were so nice. Somebody drove my car home. Like, like this, just people are kind, reaching out. What can we get for him? What could we do? How could we support you? And that's so huge. Like, right? Like, the coach is saying nice things. Like, you're tough and you're this, like, it is crazy. And then people, they know our story, especially on this team. This team in particular has grown up with us, and they've seen all the things that our family has been through. And I was just texting with my daughter before I got on here, and she was like, man, like, and it was like the second person who had said that, like, the Russos can't catch a break. And I was like, no, we can. We catch a lot of breaks, actually. And then she said something, and it like triggered this. And I was like, that's our new name. We are the Resilient Russos. Like, that is our family name. Like, so much comes at us, and like, still everybody has spirit. Like, the first thing that happened when we were in there, my daughter goes to her thing. She gets there, she makes the card. She has us all signing it. She went to the store, got him his favorite candies, got a little silly balloon, like, it's like, we know, it's like, okay, here, she's going to go do this. Here, Dylan, who everybody is always, because he's always, not always, but he tends to be recently like the one that's like injured and the patient of the hour. So everyone's always like catering to him, and like, without skipping a beat, there he was over there. He's cooking, we hadn't eaten or anything. I still didn't eat. My stomach is not hungry. Like, I am just not going to eat today. It's okay. I got enough storage. This is practice. If One Day Survivor ever gives me a call, I'll say, oh, I survived that one day. So I could do it. I could survive 11 or 12 or 13. I did that one day. I didn't eat. But I'm just absolutely not hungry at all. I can't, like, literally, my stomach is so, it's not like, it's just not hungry. It's not like before, like, where it was like I was dying, or like, it was like, oh, like, in previous times. But it's just I'm not feeling it tonight. But Dylan ended up making him chicken, rice, steamed carrots, and broccoli. And then not only made the food, but then Dylan doesn't make anything. Like, everybody makes Dylan stuff. This is a huge thing. And then he even like prepped his entire bowl. Like, he didn't even say, Mom, can you, or anything. It was just, he just did it. It was like, he had to cut up the chicken. He put on the sriracha, the teriyaki sauce, all the sauces they put on it, and served them. And then like, I was doing my thing. So it's currently immobilized. This is the best place. Like, I am the best person. They were like, oh, he's in good hands. Like, I know what to do. We've got the pillows. We've got the shower stool. We've got the wheelchair. Oh, we got the wheelchair. We don't even, he doesn't know how to use the crutches. No worries. I have the wheelchair ready for you. I just had unburied it from my garage cleaning today. So don't worry. It's ready to roll. Literally. I've got the orthopedic doctor and the orthopedic surgeon. They've already been messaged. So again, like I say, like I've got the, you know, not that it's doing anything with the splint on it, which I want to keep the splint on because the swelling and because I can't, he doesn't want to lift it up right now to elevate it, which I know he should. I'm encouraging him to. He doesn't want to, but I'm like, listen, I'm just going to let it go. I got the schedule for the Advil and the Tylenol rotation. I've got the big wrap of a thing for the ice cold machine. Like, if somebody's going to go down, it might as well be a Russo because we are prepared. Like, but if anybody else does, I'm always like, what is it you need? Do you need an ankle brace, a wrist brace, this, that, or this? So yeah, like we are prepared. He is in excellent hands, not only here, but once, you know, the real hands, you know, once we're out there. And so my hope is this, I'm going to just remain positive. I'm going to remain positive that no ligaments are touched. You know, the ligaments are intact. I am going to remain positive that, his meniscus is fine. It is totally good. I am going to remain positive. The only part of this thing is just the bone popped off and we need to go in and super glue it up or screw it up or whatever it is they do up in there. I am going to remain positive that maybe he will never have to still meet the PT people because we joke about it. Like all the physical therapists in there, I'm like, they're like, you have another child? I'm like, yes, but you're not supposed to meet him. You're not supposed to know. They're like, we never heard of him. We never want to see him. I'm like, exactly. So, and here we are. Like I said, my son just had his 8th month of his surgery. My son, Dylan, just had his 8-month anniversary from his surgery. And we're nearing the tail end of his thing here. And I'm like, I'll be damn if I'm in here again, you know, like, but if I am, I am. And then I just have to be like, okay, you guys have to start paying me and I'm going to start doing a job here because it is like meant to be that I'm here. But, no, I like my jobs right now. I'm quite busy with them all. But as you can see, like this is, it's a challenge, right? It is a big challenge. And guess what? Tomorrow I was so excited and I'm still am excited, but a little bit damper in the excitement because I'm going to try to navigate. He said, just FaceTime me, but I really want him to be able to see the eclipse. I got the eclipse glasses and everything. I'm like, we are ready to roll. And so hopefully he'll allow me to help push him outside and we can all see the eclipse together. That would be great. But yeah, I mean, sometimes things happen, right? And we have no way of predicting it. Who knew today was going to happen? And like, again, it was like I was doing something unusual. I was like, oh, I'm going to take photos this time. And so I didn't really take as much videos of him playing today. His team did have a system that videotapes them anyways. But I was just like, I'm just going to take some pictures with my phone. They're not even great pictures because it's with my phone. I didn't bring my big camera or anything, but it was like, I'm like, I haven't taken a lot of pictures of him lately. And I just kind of wanted to do that. And I was like, next game, I'm going to bring my camera. And again, there still will be a next time. It just may be a little bit longer than I had anticipated, but it is so reminds me of how fragile life is. That in one moment, you know, he was just out there doing something he loves. He was playing a game of soccer with some of his best buddies in the world. Like literally, he has played with one of those kids for almost his entire soccer life. He was in like, they're besties. Like they're just, you know, they will always be best buds. And he's just out there having a good time. Most of these kids he's played with since he was little, on and off or at some time. And then the next thing you know, he's down and unable to even walk. And, you know, it really does. Life does change in the blink of a moment. And so I say all these things all the time. And I talk about, you know, about like brushes with death and things like that. Not to be morbid, like it's just a freaking reminder. It is true. Like this is not like a promise. Like there is not a promise that you're going to walk onto the soccer field and you're going to walk off. Like, you know, and I think sometimes in our mind that we just assume it is like, you know, like I'm really good about not forgetting to say goodnight to my kids because I'm like, what if something you know, like, again, like, it's just one of those things that I'm like, even if I'm exhausted, I'm like, I get up and I'm like, good night, love you, you know, because I want them to remember that if it was like, be at least grateful for that. And so, you know, just really appreciate what you have. And if you are so fortunate to have like watched your child play sports and they never got hurt, like bow down to you. Like I envy you in so many ways. Like, I try to not think about it because I'm like, how is this possible? Like I've watched thousands of games. I've watched thousands and thousands and thousands of games or cheer competitions or anything. And I don't know what it is about, and my kids eat well, you know, they sleep well, you know, like they take vitamins, like I don't know what it is. And I, you know, and sometimes like I would get frustrated and perhaps maybe frustration will come up again in this process. Again, like I say, for now, I'm sure I'm in some shock, but I feel much different than I did before because I do have all this evidence that yes, it is unfortunate. It is painful. It is not what we would have liked, but we get through it. And like, there is other opportunities. There is other things that come out of what seems so unfortunate. Like there is beauty from something that seems so ugly, right? And you can find it in there. Like today, like I said, I could have sit here and be like, oh my gosh, you know, and just dwell and think about all the worst case scenarios. But instead I'm thinking, let's think the best case scenario, like best case, and like what perspective gives you, because like 2 years ago, when my kids would get a diagnosis of being like, oh, you're out 6 to 8 weeks. And again, like, this is just me being positive. I don't know what the diagnosis is yet. This is me, just my brain. Okay. But like, okay, let's say a 6 to 8 week injury. Okay, fine. Like they go in there, they put the knee back together and he's good, right? In 6 to 8 weeks, got to let it heal up. Like before that was so long. That was like, oh my gosh, it's a month and a half, 2 months. What am I going to do? It's so sad. Da, da, da. Now I'm like, oh shoot, that's it. We got that, you know? So again, it's like, it gives me perspective, which again, then brings me back to like, and I'm sitting over here thinking 6 to 8 weeks. I'm like, I'm scared to do like what I want to do because like, oh, I don't know if I want to. I'm considering doing, you know, because like I have this back pain and I have these things. And so I'm like, do I just do the surgery and get it fixed? Like, do I just do that? But like, I'm such a, like, I did this all by myself. You know, like, I don't know. So again, this isn't about me today, but it's a reminder because it's like here, like if he can face it and he can go through this, and if my son can go through like a year, that's a long time, you know, like, so, and a long time for somebody who wants to go pro. Like this is their desire. This is what they want to do when they grow up. Like this is it. This isn't like, oh, you know, like, so I can imagine how challenging that must be. But I say all that to say, I really thank you. I'm sorry I came on here crying, but I promise to be open, honest, and vulnerable on here. And here's the thing, that is real and raw. And I want you to see that I have grown. And I didn't record back in the day when, you know, back in the day in June of 2023, less than a year ago, 8-9 months ago. I wasn't doing this then to show you just how much I've grown. But I can even tell from this moment, like I am not crippled. And when my son was injured, I was crippled. I literally could not breathe. I was experiencing PTSD at night. I couldn't sleep. I would wake up in panics, like thinking like, oh my gosh, what I should have, if I would have stopped at that red light longer, if I would have did this, like there's nothing I could have, would have, should have done. Nothing would have changed it. Or it would have, I don't know. It didn't. What happened. And so that situation, as terrible as it was, has made me better today. And so even for me, who is not directly like affected, like this didn't happen to me whatsoever, but like I, as their mother, it affects me. Like a piece of my body is my appendages, my babies out there, when they hurt, I hurt. And when they're in joy, I'm in joy. So we are the resilient Russos. And I know we will get through this. And what I love most about my family is how they all rally around each other. That it doesn't matter what kind of little goofy things we say to one another. That when something happens, we are united. We are a team. We are there for supporting the other person. We are there to say, you are not alone in this. And you may be the main character. You may be the one suffering the most, but we all hurt with you. And we will all help you too through this and support you in any way you need. So I really hope that you have a support system for when you're hurting or when someone you love is harmed or experiencing pain, because it isn't easy to watch and it isn't easy to support. And so I will keep you updated on my baby's progress, and I will remind myself all the things I'm grateful for. And I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to get out my tears because I hadn't cried, and just to have this space that's safe and allows me to hopefully help somebody else who has maybe to have in a situation where they're having to support somebody that they love who's in pain, and dealing with some disappointment on top of that. So thank you so much for tuning in today, and I really appreciate you. Please still go out there, give somebody a big smile, give them a compliment, and just watch how they glow up. Thank you so much. Bye.